everyone. Welcome back. Ready to dive into another deep dive.
Absolutely. And this time we're tackling a topic that's close to everyone's heart, or at least their wallets.
You got it. Financial literacy. And wow, you guys sent in a ton of resources, books, articles, podcasts, you name it. It's like you've given us a whole financial library to sort through.
It's clear that taking control of their finances is a major goal for a lot of our listeners.
For sure. But honestly, who can blame them? The world of finance can feel like a maze sometimes, even overwhelming. And with the economy being the way it is, well, let's just say this deep dive feels pretty timely.
Couldn't agree more. See, understanding your finances today, it's not just about, budgeting for that vacation. It's about navigating a really complex economic landscape. And the resources you sent in, they get that. They highlight how important it is to be financially savvy, especially now if you want to weather the storms and reach your goals.
It's like prepping for your financial future, just like you'd prep for, I don't know, a job interview or a big presentation.
Exactly. Whether you're trying to climb the ladder at work, make a career shift, or just feel secure about your future knowing the ins and outs of your finances, that's your secret weapon.
Love that analogy. So where do we even begin? The materials you sent touch on a bunch of key areas: debt management, budgeting, investing. The list goes on.
Right. It can seem like a lot, but that's why we're here. Two things from what I've seen really stand out. They're super relevant to practically everyone, and honestly, they have the power to really change your financial game. Debt management and budgeting. Let's start there.
Music to my ears, because debt trap. Just hearing that phrase makes my stomach clench.
Oh yeah, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
You're swiping your credit card without a second thought, a coffee here, a new book there. Seems harmless, right? But then, bam, the interest rates hit. Suddenly, that small purchase, it's costing you way more than you ever imagined.
Ouch. Okay, I see where this is going. That's a slippery slope I definitely want to avoid.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to understand how credit actually works. Things like your credit score, managing your debt, and really being aware of those sneaky interest rates. It's like knowledge is power when it comes to avoiding that trap.
I'm with you there. So, on to the B word. I used to think budgeting was like this restrictive diet for your money. No fun at all.
I hear you. A lot of people feel that way. But what if we shifted our perspective a little? Instead of restriction, think empowerment. One of the coolest concepts in these resources is pay yourself first. Instead of waiting till the end of the month to see what's left, which, let's be honest, is often not much, you prioritize saving or investing a portion of your income right off the bat. You're putting your future self first.
I like the sound of that. It's about making choices that align with what you really want long term. Speaking of choices, this idea of wants versus needs pops up a lot in these resources. What's the deal with that?
Oh, that's huge. It's all about being mindful.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the difference between something you absolutely need and something that's just a nice to have in the moment. Like, sure, that daily latte is a treat, but those little expenses, they can really add up. When you start paying attention to where your money is going, you'll be amazed at the choices you can make.
Right. It's about making your money work for you, not the other way around.
100%. So now that we've gotten the basics down, understanding debt and budgeting, let's get practical. What are some actionable steps you can take right now to feel more in control of your finances?
I was just going to say, how do we turn all this knowledge into action?
Great question. This first step might seem kind of obvious, but it's amazing how many people overlook it. Earn additional income. Now, I know this isn't possible for everyone, but if you can swing it, finding a side hustle or doing some freelance work, that can be a game changer financially.
Even if it's just a little extra cash each month, that can make such a difference.
Absolutely. Next up, and this ties directly back to our wants versus needs conversation, it's time to adjust your lifestyle. Take a look at your spending. Where can you trim the fat a little?
Like maybe swapping out that daily latte for a homemade coffee a few times a week?
Exactly. Small changes add up. And finally, I can't stress this enough, build an emergency fund. Having even a small financial cushion set aside, just in case life throws you a curveball, that's huge. Not only does it give you peace of mind, but it also prevents you from, going into debt if something unexpected happens.
Like a safety net for your finances. Less stress all around.
100%. And speaking of stress, these resources really emphasize the importance of mindset when it comes to money. It's not just about the numbers, it's about how we think about finances in general.
It's like changing your whole money mindset, going from feeling like you never have enough to believing in abundance.
Exactly, and that ties right back to wants versus needs. When you start thinking long-term and making conscious choices about your spending, you naturally gravitate toward decisions that build a more secure financial future.
So much good stuff to unpack here. As we wrap up, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this deep dive?
This isn't about becoming a financial expert overnight. It's about taking small, manageable steps, one day at a time. Start by identifying just one small change you can make today. Set up a budget, look into a side hustle, or challenge yourself to cut back on unnecessary spending. Each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your financial goals.
So true. And hey, remember, you don't have to do this alone. There are tons of resources out there to help. Keep learning, keep that momentum going, and you've got this.
Thank you very much.